And welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. Read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks has a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you had a great weekend. There's lots going on in the markets again this week. So with that, let's get straight into today's video. If you know me, you know I always start my videos off with a look at the Russell Index. I use the Russell as my guide for the markets overall, specifically the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. And I step back to take a look at things on the bigger 5-year monthly time frame. So we're looking at the 5-year monthly chart for IWM. And as we've been talking about, it's been in this beautiful uptrend since early 2016. But worth noting, the month of October brought us with a close below this blue line, which is the 8-day EMA. I use the 8-day EMA as my guide for everything. So when it closes below, it catches my attention, especially when you consider that it hadn't closed below through all of this uptrend. So we had a close below in October, and then a doji right at our line of support for November. And so this month of November is going to be super interesting. But you can see already, even though it's early in December, that we opened above the body of the doji, which is encouraging to see. So we'll see what the rest of the month brings. But we're in an area, and especially because of October's candle, we're going to be extra cautious and careful. So that's the big 5-year monthly look. Let's take a look at it on the 1-year weekly. Same purple line. You can see how it consolidated around our purple line earlier, and it's doing the same thing over in this area as well. Futures are off this morning. I'm filming this at about 9 a.m. Tuesday morning, so we're going to get a soft start to the day. But you'll note that, as we've been talking about lately, with this consolidation here at our purple line of support, I've been saying I really want to see a candle that lifts us back up and over the 8-day EMA. So I have to say the start to this candle is somewhat encouraging. So we'll see where we go from here, but I like the look that's shaping up so far. This week is going to be very important. So that's how it looks on the weekly. Let's take a look at it on the daily. So we have price up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily. Again, we're going to get a soft start. I wouldn't want to see price migrate below the bottom of yesterday's candle. But it's starting to look somewhat encouraging, but we're going to stay extra vigilant around this purple line. So with that, I am going to feature an old Chart of the Day Cafe pick that I think is worth paying attention to in this area. And the chart that I wanted to give you the heads up on this morning is Suncor Energy, ticker symbol SU. This is a dual-listed Canadian company. It trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange as well as the New York Stock Exchange. For those of you not familiar, pardon me, with Suncor, it is a huge refining and marketing, oil and gas refining and marketing company in Canada. You know me at Chart of the Day Cafe. I am all about the scores underneath my charts, and I can tell you that Suncor has a really nice high value score, along with a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 30%, a current PE of 11.56, and a dividend yield currently of 2.55%. So those are all the nice scores I like to see underneath my charts, specifically value and growth. So we're looking at the 5-year monthly chart for Suncor. This green circle was where I featured Suncor originally for my Chart of the Day Cafe. It had been consolidating for quite a while, hit an area of support, and had some beautiful lift from there, and moved us up and over this orange line of support resistance. It was resistance back here, but it is now support, and it has come back in to settle in this area where I think it's interesting, and I'll be watching this one closely in the days ahead. So worth noting, we had this low here over support, and now we're getting an ever so slightly either equal or slightly higher low over in this area. I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 1-year weekly, and we can see how Suncor lifted off this area of the same orange line here, but you can see how it spent some time, probably about 5 or 6 weeks, consolidating before it decided to lift and move back up and over the blue 8-day EMA. Looks like it's kind of doing the same thing here. It's encouraging to see a doji indecision. And then this week, it's starting to look a little perky. It tried to lift yesterday, but like many components of the markets, it faded throughout the day. So it didn't give me that authority and that nice bullish look that I was looking for. But I will be keeping an eye on Suncor in this area. So I'm going to zoom it into this area right here. So we're going to move it away from the weekly, but I want you to see how it's trying to take the weekly, the 8-day EMA, like it eventually did here. Will it do it over here? Time will tell. I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the monthly, and I'm going to zoom it into the 3-month daily, because I really want you to see how price is behaving in this area. So here's my 8-day EMA, which I use as my trigger. I use a 3 and 8 cross, which I will show you here. Those of you not familiar with me and my videos. So I want to see the pink move up and over the blue, and the blue start ticking higher. Looks like we might be getting that in the next couple of days. I'm going to monitor this to see, but that is what my trigger would be. And then I would want to see price not migrate below the candle where my trigger candle. So I'm going to move it back to my plain study, because I like to show plain charts. But look at the consolidation happening on Suncor around this area. So when you consider that oil might be starting to turn and lift here, and then Suncor has those beautiful scores, value growth, low PE, dividend, one I would really keep an eye on in this area for sure. Along with my watch list pick, I also like to take a look at the sector that it's in, and for that we're looking at XOP, which is the ETF for oil and gas exploration. 5-year monthly chart. As we all know, oil and gas has been really having a tough time of late, but I like the look of this chart actually. So 5-year monthly, we've got this very ever so gentle kind of flat trend that has a slight bias to the upside. So what I'm noticing here is this swing low on the monthly, and then an ever so slightly higher swing low, and again over here equal or perhaps slightly higher swing low. Time will tell, we'll have to see. But that's the sector that Suncor is in. As well, you know me, I also like to have seasonal favor with my new watch list pick, and for that I go to equityclock.com, a really, really excellent site. I refer to this site all the time. And here's the seasonal chart for Suncor. You can see that it has seasonal favor at this time of year. No guarantee that happens again this year, but always a good data point to know. The other thing I like to do is spin over to finviz.com. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Finviz, and this is the Suncor company page. You can see that Suncor has had some recent upgrades, so that's good to see, as well as some positive articles down here. And so to quickly recap, let's go back and check our boxes for Suncor. I started today's video with a look at the Russell Index, the IWM, and we know that the IWM is trying to regain the 8-day EMA on the weekly chart. So we have some consolidation happening at a trend support area, and it looks like it's trying. We'll see if it can actually do it. We're going to be extra careful in this area for sure. And my apologies, I forgot to show EWC. I meant to show EWC, but I did in my Tuesday video, so you can go back and take a look at that one. Or sorry, yesterday's video when I was covering Manulife Financial. EWC is at an area of support and looks as though it may want to try and lift here. EWC is a country ETF for Canada. I think it's an important one to refer to when you're looking at anything Canadian. We looked at the chart for Suncor, and we can see that it's lifting off an area of support on the 5-year chart. We want to see some follow through, but it's poised to, it looks as though, I should say, it's poised to perhaps move higher. Emphasis on perhaps. It's got a good value score. These are the two things I look for most, so they're highlighted. It's got a, I should say, excellent growth score, because 30% is excellent to me. Dividend yield currently of 2.55%. It's had some recent upgrades, as we saw on Finviz. This is not checked because it has not triggered yet. It does not have my 3 and 8 at daily EMA cross. Seasonality is in its favor. That box is checked. We saw analyst support on Finviz, and it's got a current PE of 11.56, and it looks as though their next earnings is on February 14th, so a ways away. Thank you for watching today's video, and as a reminder, these videos go out every Tuesday and Thursday morning. Having said that, when I see setups happening throughout the week, I'm going to put out some shorter videos just to give you a heads up on things I'm watching during the day. And if you like this video, please give it a like on YouTube. Always nice to see. With that, I will leave you and we'll put our next video out on Thursday. Thanks for watching.